Yeehaw! Howdy, partners. Welcome to Woody's Store Finds. Yes, Brandon finally rebooted the series where I go to different stores and find a bunch of things for Brandon to review. Well, Brandon finds a bunch of things for me to review, so let's get started, partners. Yeehaw! Alright, so today is the Boxing Week special. Yes, I know, Boxing Day was 2 days ago, but it extended to a whole week here in Canada. So, here's all the stuff that Brandon bought today. We're gonna review it. So, let's go, partners! So to start off, we got the ones that Brandon got from GameStop. And these include Bone Shaker, who is part of the Transformers Hot Wheels collab, which I had no idea Mattel can collaborate with Hasbro, and Alpha Trion from Age of the Primes, because Brendan doesn't even have an Alpha Trion figure. The one from Transformers 1 who's in that bin doesn't count. Brendan was talking about the real deal, the one from G1, which is the season or continuity he grew up with. We'll start off with Bone Shaker. Now, in order for us to get him out of the box, we have to do a little transition to him finally out of the box. Now, as you can see, this is based on the classic Hot Wheels toy called Bone Shaker, and one of the main protagonists of the original Hot Wheels franchise. Yeah, so he was like one of their mascots, along with Twin Mill, who did also get a Transformers Collaborative Edition figure. But this is the one Brandon got, because there was actually only 2 of this guy at the GameStop he went to. So yeah, I could see the resemblance on the original toy here, and it looks pretty cool. The quality's pretty good. It gives it a nice wheel to it. Like, it could actually roll really well. And of course, if you look underneath, there's a bunch of kibble that we should turn him into robot mode. He also comes with this little thing. And I had no idea about this, but Bone Shaker being an Autobot, that doesn't make any sense. It would be better if he was like a Decepticon or something. I don't know. But I'm not the one that's talking. Hasbro is the one who does the talking with Mattel, and they made this. So why don't we transform this guy into robot mode already? Let's go! And here he is in robot mode. Now, for what I can tell, this robot mode is pretty clean. It does look pretty clean. I'll give it that. I like how the skull at the front actually becomes a chest. Just got headlights there at the front. Kind of like all Transformers are. And you can see the evil semblance of the Hot Wheels symbol. Even though this guy is supposedly an Autobot, the visor does give off a little bit of Decepticon vibes. Maybe he may be the brother of Soundwave. I'm not sure. You could also attach the scepter into one of his hands. There we go. And it doesn't look too bad. You could actually get him into great poses as well. As always, he's posable in the head, arms, elbows, biceps, wrists, waist, legs, knees, thighs, and ankles. Oh, and his shoulder pads can move upward for even more posability. Not gonna lie, I love Hot Wheels and Transformers. Brandon loves Transformers, but I also mostly like Hot Wheels, so this thing is pretty nice, I gotta admit. Well, on to the next figure that Brandon got from GameStop. None other than Alpha Trion. Oh! And if we look on the back of the box, you could see that Alpha Trion is writing about the Covenant of Primus. And you could also use the Autobot insignia to put on his chest. And also, you can see his jet mode. But we're not there yet. First, we have to transition to get him out of the box. Now, from what I could tell, this figure of him is actually incomplete. But you do have a few extra accessories you could give him. For instance, yes, we're going to start off with the robot mode on this one. These 2 little corkscrews here can plug right into the shoulders and this little block of kibble can plug into his shoulder. Into his forearm, and here we have the main man himself, Alpha Trion. Now, the Autobot symbol here is removable, but it's kind of hard to get out, so I'm just going to leave it there for now. And he also comes with these two accessories, which are a quill and a book which features the Covenant of Primus. And now if I could just open it up, you can see the inscription right here, which, believe it or not, this translates to one of the main phrases Brandon likes, "Till all are one," which you could actually place into his hand, along with the quill, to make it look like he's writing down the Covenant, of course. Which he's writing down notes in his book from the Covenant of Primus, "Till all are one." Now, not gonna lie, this figure is actually pretty cool, and he was the creator of Optimus Prime back in Generation 1. So, believe it or not, back then in Generation 1, to explain the backstory, Optimus Prime was originally known as Orion Pax, and he had a love interest named Ariel/Elita-1. And Megatron, basically, Optimus originally idolized Megatron and the Decepticons for their superior flight abilities, but then the Decepticons tricked them and turned on them, blasting Optimus Prime, his best friend Dion, and Ariel. It wasn't until the time-traveling aerial bots, aka Air Raid, Farflight, Slingshot, Silverbolt, and Skydive, came back and traveled back in time to save Optimus Prime, who was Orion Pax at the time, and they bring him to Alpha Trion, which you see right here. This is his younger self. Oh, from that same episode, where he rebuilds Orion Pax into Optimus Prime and gives him the Matrix of Leadership. He even rebuilt Ariel into Elita-1. Yeah, I know they're the same character, but come on, you know Transformers by now already, right? Yeah! Oh, and I forgot to mention, this guy has individual, articulated fingers, which allows him to hold the Covenant of Primus and his little quill. Now, how about we get on with transforming this guy? Let's do it! This foldout is stupidly long. I can't even take it to Chutes and Ladders. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the front skirt also moves down and allows for a high kick as well. And surprisingly, an ab crunch, which I had no idea was a thing you could do with Transformers figures unless it was the masterpiece. And here we have his Cybertronian jet mode. I mean, this is pretty cool. And Brendan originally wanted this, cause he didn't have any figure of Alpha Trion unless it was the Transformers 1 crappy version, which was still in one of the bins. I'm pretty sure it's that one over there. But I love it when someone buys a few more Cybertronian alt mode figures, which is pretty cool. Brandon really likes Cybertronian alt modes now for some reason. Who knows, he might be able to buy Sunstreaker off of Amazon, I don't know. And you could also store the quill and the book /Covenant of Primus on the bottom of him, which is pretty neat. If I do say so myself, partners, it's pretty cool. Yeah! But that was just the tip of the gold pole. Next up, we have Walmart. To start off our Walmart adventure, we have another one of the Transformers that Brendan wanted. Fireflight, who is one of the aerial bots who I mentioned before. On the back of the box, there's 17 steps to transform him. And this is what he looks like. And his jet mode. Believe it or not, Takara Tomy, the people who manufacture the Transformers over in Japan, also manufacture Toy Story toys now, which Brandon mentioned in a post, but I think it was pretty cool that Takara Tomy, one of the biggest toy companies in Japan, sells Toy Story toys, along with Transformers and Thomas and Friends. Where's Thomas right now? I need to talk to him. I'll do it later, but let's transition to which he is a mermaid.
That is a...
Now, as I mentioned before, this guy is part of the team of the aerial bots, which, believe it or not, there's 5 of them, like I mentioned. Air Raid, Slingshot, Skydive, and Silverbolt are the other 4. And they all combine, as it says on the box, to form this big robot. Now, Fireflight, from what I know, didn't really do too much in Generation 1. Neither did the Protectobots, which is a missed potential. But he was created along with the other characters, well, specifically the Stunticons and the other aerial bots, by the one and only Vector Sigma, who was like the core to Cybertron, like, at the time. And you could actually kind of see this little slit right between his hips and his torso. But it's all worth it for a great F4 Phantom mode. In other words, transition time to the jet mode. And you know what? This looks pretty good. Now, yes, like I said before, this is of course the F4 Phantom, based on the classic jet fighter of the same name. Believe it or not, Air Raid is also an F-15 Eagle, kind of like Starscream, who is also in Storage Jet. And Brandon is a sucker when it comes to unfinished combiners. I mean, he doesn't have any of the other Stunticons like Motormaster or Wild Rider or Breakdown yet. Which is a real shame, because Brandon's been wanting a bunch of combiner teams to be complete. Like, for example, the Constructicons. He saw Mixmaster one time at Walmart, and the next time it was there, it never appeared again. Like, what the heck? But Brandon's gonna be satisfied with this F4 Phantom, which he got, and it's pretty cool. At least he got one of the aerial bots. But now we have Sea Spray. Ow. Specifically, the version of him that's based on the original G1 toy. And this is a new figure that Hasbro supposedly released. Anyways, yeah. This guy right here is, of course, part of the Generation 1 Inspirational Collection toy line, which is, of course, the collection of mini-bots on card, which are in the modern chunk scale. This is basically one of the new toys that Brandon wanted. Now, in order to get him out of the package, before we do that, just look at this nice mural of 85 Transformers. Also, why are there 2 Grimlocks on the same packaging? Like, what? And that's not Shrex, that's Road Rage. Now then, let's transition to get this guy out. And here he is in the Robo mode. But don't forget to save the card for his tech specs. Now, from what I remember, Sea Spray here was able to talk like he's underwater. Like he's always like, grab a hold of me, we're going to swim. Like, what the frick is he supposed to sound like? Like, who does he think he is, Aquaman? Now, of course, before we continue with him, let's read his little tech specs here. Function, naval defense. Be unyielding as the ocean waves and your enemies shall hold. Displays a zest for his job, unmatched by fellow Autobots. Loves the ocean and its creatures, and loves the thrill of naval battle. 'Cause he's... Another stupidly long fold-out, for crud's sake. But let's try to transform him. Let's go. And here we have his hovercraft mode. Which is, of course, pretty cool. Like, seriously, this is basically part of the Navy from the 80s, I think. Yeah, you wouldn't see this on G.I. Joe. Well, you would, but it's like the killer whale and stuff. And now I can see why he's called Sea Spray, because he isn't afraid to get his toes wet. Overall, great transform... Where's my hat? And, gosh dang it, the legs... Overall, pretty good Transformers figure. But Brennan really wanted him, so... why not? But now moving on, we have 2 LEGO sets that Brendan got. That's all the Transformers for now, so... LEGO sets. To start off, we got the one and only Sonic Speedster. Which, believe it or not, this is actually based on the new Sonic Racing game that came out this year, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Alright, let's get to building. And here we have the set all complete. It includes Sonic, of course, with a brand new face expression, with his grin on his side, and no winking face, as well as a few rings that he's supposed to collect, and the main course itself, the Sonic Speedster. And if you take this hatch off, you can see a Chaos Emerald. The fourth one, to be exact. Shadow's looking for that. And now for the final set that Brandon got, the Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack. Let's get started on building. And here we have the battle pack itself. And you know what? Not that bad. Of course it's a battle pack, so of course it's not going to have as much stuff that like I said would usually have. Mainly just a few battle pieces as well. Comes with an octopus droid, a little runnable stab speeder, which can hold a battle droid, a speeder for 2 of the clones, a battle station, a box with some thermal detonators inside, 4 clone troopers. One of them came with this big rifle, and the other being a shock trooper, which is one of the Chancellor's Legion. Or should I say the Emperor's Legion? 2 regular clankers and 3 super clankers. Gotta admit this stud shooter gimmick is cheap, but it works really well. Overall, great set of process, and all around, great Boxing Day haul. And I just made a huge mess right there. So, I'll clean it up. So, well, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Woody's Online... dang it, I keep saying online. Woody's Store Finds. This is going to be a rebooted series that would probably come out a few or so days when Brendan decides to buy stuff and use me for the reviews. Right, Brendan? Yeah, Woody, but, like, I got other things to tend to, like getting a job. What?